Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be painting a red berry wreath on a load of brown twigs to get that really good contrast in there. So we're going to be doing a loose expressive style and some wet on wet technique to do some therapeutic watercolour painting. Let's get started. Alright then guys, now before we get started, as usual, my supplies. So Winsor & Newton Professional Watercolour Paints. I'm going to tell you what colours I'm using, but if you want to see my full list, it is available on my website, so the link is in the video description. And then for paper, I'm going to be using Legion Stonehenge Aqua cold press, 100% cotton paper. And for brushes, I'm going to be using my Princeton Aqua Elite range, so I'm going to use a size 6, and I've got a size 2 here for details as well. Right then, so to paint your wreath, first of all you're going to want to sketch out a circle shape. Now for this I'm going to be using the inside of an embroidery hoop, which fits nicely into my paper size, but you can draw around a bowl, candle holder, basically anything you've got at home that's circular and fits. A roll of sellotape even will do. You want to leave a little bit of white space at the edges of your paper because you don't want it to go all the way to the edge. And then what I'm going to do is slightly erase this. If you've seen these videos before, you'll know that pencil and watercolour don't mix that well. Watercolour is translucent, which means you can see the pencil and it can't be erased after you've painted on it. So get it as light as you can before you start. Now, for this wreath, what we're going to be doing is having some fun with berries and creating some contrast. So I'm going to be focusing most of the work on the red berries, but we're going to have some brown mixture as well. So I'm going to use my big brush to mix these up actually. So for the red, I'm going to largely be using Winsor Red Deep, and then I'm going to add another one over here with some Scarlet Lake in it for a bit of a lighter red. This is quite a deep red, Winsor Red Deep. You can also add a touch of purple into your red if you want to make more of a purpley red mixture as well. That's a Dioxazine Purple over there. And then for the browns, I'm going to be using burnt umber on its own, and also mixed in with some Mars Black to make a nice deep one. So we're going to start with the brown first of all, and what I'm going to do is just create a few lines to give us some direction. So random lines over there. Now they're not meant to be perfect, they're just a holding shape so we can get a sense of where we're going. Then rinse your brush off and grab some red. And for this we're going to create groups of berries, and they're all going to be touching, they're all going to be different types of red. So we want some circles in these different reds. So I'm going to start and I'm going to load up the brush, and then I'm just going to paint a bunch of circles. Some are going to be connected to branches, some are not. I might add in some more branches later. And this first colour we're going to go and add a bunch of circles out here. Without overthinking it. And then I'm going to rinse that off to get a lighter value and come back and add some lighter circles next to it, and we're going to let them touch for a little bleed. It's one of my favourite ways to paint berries. It's quite soothing, it's quite therapeutic. You can't go wrong, you can't do it badly. Then we might add some of this red, so come back for a slightly different tone. There we go. Can you see how this lighter one is bleeding in and pushing into that area? I love that sort of effect. And then a final one, maybe we'll add some real darkness here. There we go. And you can see already how this contrast is going to start to take shape. Alright, I love how this is looking. So what I'm going to do is keep this going. So I'm going to do a bit over the top and a bit under the bottom, and then we're going to come back and fill in some of the areas. So you want your branches to be coming out, either curving into the circle or curving away from it. And try not to make them too smooth, you know, we want slightly wonky shapes maybe. There we go. It's supposed to look wiry and natural. So let's get our original colour mixture back with our Winsor Red Deep. This is such a good technique if you really struggle with contrast. So it's just to load up your brush and keep painting, and it will get lighter as you get less and less paint on your brush. And it's a really neat way to do it. I'm going to have another stem coming out here. See, it's already got quite light out there. And we're going to wash it off even more and get some really light values. There we go. You can see where I'm letting these touch and letting them pull in all different kinds of colours. I might also go back here and add, while I've got the very light value on, just a few extras in any gaps. Now, I'm going to go back to our third red. So this is the one with the Scarlet Lake in it, so it's more of a warm red. There we go. And then finally our purple red for the heavy contrast. It helps to add different colours to your reds if you're trying to mix them up. It's a really easy way to do it, that you can, you know, extend the range of values as well. There we go. That looks lovely. Right, I forgot to do these ones down here, but never mind. So let's get our initial reds over here. And then our lighter values. You can see it's very systematic. It's such a therapeutic and calming way to paint. It's, you know, you're not having to overthink anything or worry about it being lifelike. It's just, we paint the colours in order and we add the little circles. And I'm not giving myself a whole load of time to think about it. And the main reason for that is because when you overthink it, you tend to end up overworking or putting, you know, too much or too little of something in. Whereas if you work quite quickly and you force yourself to just paint the areas without, you know, giving yourself time to overthink, the painting is always going to look better. You can see there's quite a lot of dark there and here, so I'm going to go and add some more lightness. And then finally we have our purple colour. I'm just going to mix up a touch more of that. And very dark areas. You'll also see that some of these are bigger or smaller. Some of them I'm sneaking into tiny spaces. There we go. And now we're ready to close the gap with our stems. So we'll get some more base ones in. And then back to our original red. Now, so if you are, you know, struggling to paint loose, you really want to paint more loose techniques, this is a really great method. So set yourself a timer and complete a painting like this in 10 minutes or 5 minutes or however you want to do it. The idea is it shouldn't feel like you're rushing and making mistakes, but it shouldn't feel like you've got time to think. You are just picking up your brush and getting the paint down on the paper. You're not umming and ahhing over where to place the different elements. It's a really great technique to get more of a loose style. Quite a few people, you know, over the years that I've been doing these kind of tutorials have reached out and said, I really like this style, but I can't seem to paint loose. I can't seem to get it, you know, relaxed and effortless. You make it look so easy. That's one I get a lot. but it's simply a case of not overthinking it. There we go. Let's get some good contrast in there. Love how this looks. Okay, so I'm going to rinse all of this off and then get a very light value on and go and just add some other light sections. And what I'm looking for here is any strands I could pull out to fill it in. So anywhere where there's gaps where it could be, you know, filled in a little bit with some more shapes. That bit's quite thin, isn't it, up there at the top? Difficult to do this without being able to put my hand on the paper. You're welcome to turn it around if you're having trouble reaching the areas at the top again. There we go. And maybe a bit out here as well. It's really easy to overwork a painting like this and end up making a bit of a mess, overdoing it, overfilling it. So try and lift your brush up after a few, have a look, check there's, you know, no more spaces, check you're not going too far. Because it doesn't take much to really overwork a loose painting. I can see I've still got a gap up here. So I'm going to stop, check, and then go back in. And I've still got a bit of a gap here. So put the initial ones in, and then back for a lighter value. You can see I've got a lot of darkness down here, so I'm going to put some lighter ones in. And this maybe needs some more red down here. You can see there's a lot of purple. And there we go. Okay, I like how this is looking. It's got a nice shape to it. What I'm going to do is now go back in with the brown to finish this off. So you want your brown mixture a little bit lighter than the first strokes we put down, and then we're just going to add some more stems in to fill some of the gaps. So the idea is to make it look a little wiry, connect some of the other berries back up, just create a little more darkness underneath there. Cross some of your stems over if you can on your older ones. There we go. And it just creates this little base for all the berries to sit on. I think looking at it, I can see this bit's quite thick and this bit's quite thin, so I'm going to go back and just add a few more berries in there. Let's add some more of that deeper red colour. And then finally, some light values. And a couple of little purple ones to finish. Right, a few last little stem bits to connect this up, and then we will be done. Okay, I'm getting at risk of overworking it, so I'm going to stop there. That is how I paint a red berry wreath. Alright, there we are. I love how this has turned out. I love the contrast, the little dark purple and the brown backing. It's just a really fun wreath to paint. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and tell me in the comments what you want to see next. See you in the next one.